Most people walk into the gym with a massive list of exercises. Incline press, flat press, cable flies, 3 rowing variations, lateral raises, front raises, rear delts, triceps, biceps. They're chasing completeness, but they end up creating useless repetition. What almost no one understands is simple. Your torso only moves in 4 main directions. 4 fundamental movement patterns. And if you stack 10 exercises that all do basically the same thing, you're not training better, you're just training longer. And that comes at a cost. Many recreational lifters have clear imbalances in shoulder strength and stability. Not because they're lazy, but because the training was poorly designed. 5 pushing exercises and 1 pulling exercise. They hammer chest and front delts while ignoring the back. The result isn't just aesthetic. It's pain, shoulder impingement, rotator cuff irritation, and a physique that looks unfinished even with effort. Now comes the part that changes everything. Research on minimum effective dose shows that you can build real muscle with far less than most people imagine, as long as intensity and exercise selection are right. And more than that, the upper body usually responds well to less volume than legs. So no, you don't need 15 exercises. You need the 4 right ones. The difference between a workout that works and one that only exhausts you isn't variety for variety's sake. It's understanding movement patterns. The torso works in 4 patterns: horizontal push, horizontal pull, vertical push, vertical pull. Every upper body exercise falls into one of these categories. And once you understand this, you stop asking, which 10 exercises should I do today? And start asking, which is the best exercise to cover each pattern? This is where most people go wrong. You'll see someone doing flat bench, incline bench, and dips in the same workout. All 3 are horizontal pushes. All 3 hit chest, front delts, and triceps in nearly the same way. That's not balance. It's the same thing repeated under different names. Meanwhile, horizontal pulling becomes 1 set of rows at the end when all the energy is gone. The imbalance isn't accidental, it's structural. And that's why so many people stall, stop progressing, and still develop shoulder pain. Let's fix this now. These 4 movements, organized by the 4 patterns, deliver complete development of chest, back, shoulders, and arms, without redundancy, without imbalance, and without spending 2 hours in the gym. And if you think 4 exercises is too little, science says otherwise. Let's break it down. The first pattern is the horizontal push. This is any movement where you push a load away from your torso in a straight line, like the bench press. The classic version is the barbell bench press, but dumbbell presses, push-ups, and machines also count. This pattern builds chest, front delts, and triceps. It's what gives the chest density and pushing strength. If you want a real upper body, this is non-negotiable. And the reason is simple. It's a true compound movement. Shoulder and elbow work together under load. The chest generates force. The shoulder stabilizes and assists. The triceps finish the movement, and the core supports the entire body. One exercise, multiple systems working at once. That's efficiency. But people overdo it. They perform 6 variations of the same pattern in one session and then wonder why their shoulders hurt and their backs don't show up. Because the opposite pattern is missing. Horizontal pushing without horizontal pulling is a recipe for disaster. The chest shortens, the shoulder rolls forward, and you start forcing the shoulder joint into angles it wasn't built to handle. That's how impingement and rotator cuff problems develop. It's not training heavy that causes injuries. It's training imbalanced. So yes, choose one solid horizontal push. Barbell, dumbbells, or weighted push-ups. The variation that respects your shoulders and allows a good range of motion. But don't stack 5 versions of the same thing. One good choice is enough. Because the secret isn't doing more pushing. It's balancing it with the next pattern. The second pattern is the horizontal pull. This is the one almost everyone ignores, and exactly why it's the one that transforms physiques the most. Horizontal pulling is when you bring the load toward your torso. Barbell rows, dumbbell rows, cable rows, chest-supported rows. This builds the mid-back, rhomboids, rear delts, and biceps. It adds thickness to the back, improves posture, and undoes the damage caused by excessive pressing. There's a biomechanical reason for this. When you push, your shoulder blades move apart. When you pull, they come together. If you train only one side of that equation, you create problems. And it's not just posture, it's performance. Poor shoulder mechanics reduce pressing strength, compromise stability, and increase injury risk. The solution is simple. For every horizontal push, include a real horizontal pull. It doesn't need to be mathematically perfect, but it must exist with intent and intensity. Some coaches even recommend 2 pulls for every push if you've spent years imbalanced. Others use a 1.1 ratio. The point is, you can't skip this. And there's a bonus. Rows train the biceps hard without needing endless curls. Every pull requires elbow flexion under load. It's not isolation, but it's more than enough stimulus. Plus, you get a thicker back and healthier shoulders. Third pattern, the vertical push. This includes overhead movements like the military press, dumbbell press, and push press. These build real shoulders, mainly the front and lateral delts, while also involving triceps and the upper chest. The difference between vertical and horizontal is the angle. Pressing overhead places the joint in a different position, recruiting fibers that don't get the same stimulus from bench pressing. That's why some people have huge bench numbers but narrow shoulders. This pattern is missing. But there's an important detail. Even the overhead press, while excellent, doesn't fully maximize the lateral delts. It helps, but it's not the star. That's where a small addition changes everything. Lateral raises. Yes, lateral raises are more isolated, but they fill a gap no compound lift covers 100%. The lateral delts are the width muscles, the ones that make your shoulders open up and change your silhouette from the front. Muscle activation studies show they receive far more stimulus from lateral raises than from pressing variations. So the deal is this: your main vertical push is the press, and at the end, you add lateral raises for a few minutes. This isn't pointless exercise stacking. It's a strategic correction that completes the shoulder. The press builds strength and mass. Lateral raises add width and finish. Done. No need for front raises, endless rear delt variations, or upright rows. Fourth and final pattern, the vertical pull. This is any movement where you pull from top to bottom. Pull-ups, chin-ups, lat pull-downs. These build the lats, lower traps, and biceps. They create back width, improve grip strength, and act as the opposite of vertical pushing, keeping the shoulders balanced and healthy. The lats are the largest muscles in the upper body. When they grow, the V appears. Wide back, smaller-looking waist. But beyond aesthetics, they're essential for shoulder stability during pressing. Weak lats, unstable presses. Strong lats, better force transfer and protected shoulders. And pay attention. Vertical and horizontal pulling are not the same. Rows build thickness. Vertical pulls build width. You need both. One does not replace the other. There's even a simple test that exposes imbalance. If you bench press X weight, can you do weighted pull-ups with a comparable load? Most people can't. That shows pushing muscles are far ahead of pulling muscles. A fast track to future shoulder pain. The fix is simple. Pull with the same seriousness you push. If you press heavy, pull heavy. If you push hard, pull hard. Another bonus. Pull-ups and chin-ups build biceps far more than most people expect. Every rep demands elbow flexion under load, plus core tension, grip strength, and body control. It's a high-return exercise. So here's the complete map. Horizontal push, horizontal pull, vertical push, plus lateral raise, vertical pull, chest, back, shoulders, arms. Everything covered. Nothing repeated. Nothing missing. And the best part, this scales to any level. Beginners use lighter loads and higher reps to build a base. Advanced lifters go heavier with fewer reps to keep progressing. What changes is intensity, not structure. Why does this work so well? Because compound movements deliver more growth stimulus per minute. They recruit more muscle mass and create a stronger systemic response than isolating muscle after muscle. But the most overlooked factor is recovery. Workouts packed with 12 exercises don't just fatigue muscles. They beat up the nervous system, joints, and connective tissue. And all of that has to recover before you can train well again. In the minimalist model, you put energy where it matters. Few movements, high quality, strong execution, clear progression. You train hard without burying yourself in useless volume. Result? Faster recovery and more consistency. And consistency is what builds physiques. There's also the psychological side. When training is simple, you focus. Instead of spreading effort across 10 exercises, you chase progress in 4. You track improvement. You know if you're adding weight, reps, or improving form. And that keeps motivation high, because progress becomes visible. How do you structure this during the week? Train upper body 2 to 3 times per week. In each session, include all 4 patterns. Start with a horizontal push, bench press or weighted push-ups. Do 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 12 reps, hard but controlled. Then move to a horizontal pull, barbell or cable rows. Same structure, 3 to 4 sets of 6 to 12 reps. Think about squeezing the shoulder blades together at the top. Next, the vertical push, overhead press for 3 to 4 sets. Finish with lateral raises, 2 to 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps, and close with a vertical pull, pull-ups, chin-ups, or lat pull-downs, 3 to 4 sets, aiming for 6 to 12 reps depending on your level. Rest 2 to 3 minutes on heavy lifts. For lateral raises, rest 1 to 2 minutes. Total session time, 45 minutes to 1 hour. And that's it. You walk in, do what matters, and walk out. With your entire upper body trained in the correct patterns. The rule that governs everything remains the same: progressive overload. Every week, try to add a little more weight, more reps, or better execution. You grow by getting stronger at the right movements, not by collecting new exercises. If you've been training for months without real changes in physique or strength, the problem is almost never lack of effort. It's poor selection and excessive repetition. Simplify. Focus. Progress. 4 exercises, 4 patterns, complete upper body. No redundancy, no imbalance, no wasted time. This isn't a shortcut. It's applied intelligence, understanding what actually drives growth and cutting everything that just fills time. Test it for 8 weeks. Track loads and reps. Watch recovery. And see what happens when you stop chasing volume and start chasing real progress. And if you want to take this even further, I have a video that shows a movement that accelerates leg growth more than traditional training, with the same efficiency mindset. It's on the screen.